Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We will continue with the internal features of the midbrain. There are some external features on the lateral aspect and posterior aspect of the midbrain, like superior inferior caliculi, and on the lateral surface, brachium of the superior calculus, brachium of the inferior calculus, and in the lower part of the lateral surface there is lateral lemniscus. And just above is part of the diencephalon, that is thalamus, and on the inferior surface of the thalamus there is a metathalamus, which comprises of lateral genicular body and medial genicular body. So these were some of the external features of the midbrain in this region. Now, what are the internal features of the midbrain? In case of caliculi, brachium of the superior inferior caliculum, lateral lemniscus, and also lateral and medial genicular body. Now, lateral view of the brainstem, midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. Up just above is the thalamus. Now, in this diagram, suppose we have dissected the diencephalon, cerebrum, and only thalamus is drawn here. Rest of the parts of the diencephalon are dissected out, and only thalamus is shown here. Now, this is posterior broad end of the thalamus, which is known as the pulvinar, and on the inferior surface of the pulvinar there is a lateral geniculate body and medial geniculate body. Now, suppose this is lateral geniculate body. Lateral geniculate body. And there is another elevation here known as the medial geniculate body. Medial geniculate body. the inferior surface of the pulvinar of the thalamus. Then lateral view of the midbrain, you can see there are two swellings, one above, the other below. This is superior calculus, and below it, this is inferior calculus. Under the superior calculus is the nucleus of superior calculus. And under the inferior calculus is the nucleus of inferior calculus. Now, on the upper part of the lateral surface of the midbrain, there is an elevation which extends from superior calculus to the medial geniculate body. This is known as brachium of the superior calculus. Similarly, another elevation run forwards and upwards below the level of brachium of superior calculus and extends between inferior calculus and medial geniculate body. This is brachium of superior calculus. Similarly, this is brachium of the inferior calculus. So on the upper part of the lateral aspect of the midbrain, there are some external features. This is superior calculus and rounded elevation extend upwards and forwards on the upper part of the lateral surface of the midbrain and reaches up to the lateral geniculate body of thalamus. Similarly, below that is the inferior calculus and an elevation extends forwards and upwards on the upper part of the lateral surface of the midbrain below and parallel to the brachium of superior calculus. This is known as brachium of inferior calculus and reaches up to the medial genicular body of thalamus. Now on the lateral surface of the lower part of the midbrain, here there is another broad elevation known as the lateral lemniscus, which run upwards and backwards up to the brachium of inferior calculus. This rounded elevation on the lower part of the lateral surface of the midbrain, this is a tract known as the lateral lemniscus. Lateral lemniscus. Now these were some of the features on the lateral aspect of the midbrain. Now we will discuss the internal features of the midbrain at this level. Now, first of all, we will talk about visual pathway. Visual pathway. Now, I will draw various parts of the visual pathway. Right and left eyeballs, and this is retina. Then from the eyeball, optic nerves arise, right and left optic nerves. Then partial decussation occur at the optic chiasma. The temporal fibers, they run on the same side, but the nasal fibers, they decussate. This is optic chiasma. Then from the optic tract, right and left, from the optic chiasma, right and left, optic tracts arise. optic tract, one on each side, right and left optic tracts. Now here we will draw a section of the midbrain. This is a section through midbrain. These are the caliculi. This is a cerebral aqueduct surrounded by central gray matter. These are two crus cerebri, and this is substantia nigra. So a section through midbrain. Now right left optic tract run backwards, and here these divide into a medial root and a lateral root. As the optic tract run backwards, and the side of the midbrain divide into two roots, a medial root and a lateral root. This is supposed medial root on each side. And lateral root. Medial root of optic tract, and this is lateral root of optic tract on each side. The medial root enters the midbrain, while the lateral root relay in lateral geniculate body on each side. Lateral geniculate body. Midbrain section. Then is the visual cortex. occipital lobe, right and left cerebral hemisphere. Visual cortex around the calcarine sulcus, near the calcarine sulcus. Broad main cortical area 17, 18, and 19. Right and left cerebral hemisphere. So the lateral root of the optic tract enter the lateral genicular body where its fibers relay, and from lateral genicular body optic radiation arise, which end in the visual cortex on each side. Eye, then optic nerve, then optic chiasma, optic tract dividing into medial and lateral roots, then lateral genicular body, and then visual cortex, and this is optic radiation. Also known as the geniculo-calcarine tract. Optic radiation or geniculo-calcarine tract. Why geniculo-calcarine tract? Because it arises from the lateral genicular body and reaches the calcarine sulcus where there is visual cortex, broad main cortical area 17, 18, 19. So this is optic radiation or geniculo-calcarine sulcus. This is visual pathway. So just to summarize, the visual pathway: eye, then optic nerve, which reaches the optic chiasma, and next to optic chiasma, optic tracts, optic tract. So we are discussing the visual pathway. So the visual pathway, the impulses from optic tract follow the lateral route of optic tract. Not a medial route. And the lateral route of optic tract then relay in the thalamic nucleus, that is lateral geniculate body. Then from the lateral genicular body, the optic radiation arises. and optic radiation then relay in the visual cortex, visual center. Visual center which is in the occipital lobe of cerebellum in the calcarine sulcus. This was the visual pathway. Summary of the visual pathway. The axons of the neurons of the retina, they are crowded together to leave the eyeball as optic nerve. Then partial decussation occur at the optic chiasma where the nasal fibers decussate and temporal fibers remain ipsilateral, they do not decussate. And from the optic chiasma, right and left optic tracts arise near the midbrain. Lateral to the midbrain, the optic tract divide into a medial route and lateral route. So we are discussing the visual pathway. So retina, optic nerve, optic chiasma, optic tract, lateral route of the optic tract in case of visual pathway. Then the fibers from the lateral route of the optic tract relay in the lateral genicular body, and from the lateral genicular body optic radiation or geniculocalcarine tract arise which end in the visual cortex. So this is visual pathway. Now you are sitting here looking at the board, looking at me. The impulses, visual impulses follow this pathway. The optic nerve, optic chiasma, optic tract, lateral route of the optic tract, lateral genicular body, optic radiation and visual pathway. Thus you can see the lateral genicular body, which is part of the metathalamus, is visual pathway. Lateral genicular body is a relay station in visual pathway. Here is the medial genicular body, which is a relay station in auditory pathway, which we'll discuss later on. Relay station in auditory or hearing pathway. So here regarding visual pathway, we are concerned with the lateral geniculate body. Now, visual reflex pathway. What is visual? What is visual reflex and visual reflex pathway? This was visual pathway, and now we are discussing the visual reflex pathway. Now visual reflex pathway. Now nuclei of the superior caliculi. This is superior calculus and this is nucleus of the superior calculus. So nuclei of the superior caliculi are in charge of our visual orientation reflexes. They transmit impulses for reflex movement of the body. For example, if there is an unexpected sudden flash of light, or suddenly a big dog is running towards you, these nuclei respond by fear, anger, and a quick motor response will occur. You will widely open your eyes, you will turn your head, followed by a big turn of your entire body, and will run away from the site of occurrence. So, what are the reflex movements of the body, or sudden response of the body to an unexpected flash of light in your eyes, or some other danger moving towards you? What you will do immediately? Which moments will occur when we are exposed to such a condition? That is the visual reflex. And what is the pathway for visual reflex? We discussed the visual pathway. Now what is the visual reflex pathway? Again, impulses will start from eye, then optic nerve, then optic tract, and I told you the optic tract divide into a lateral route and a medial route. The visual pathway impulses pass through the lateral route of the optic tract, but visual reflex pathway passes through the medial route of the optic tract, not lateral route. Medial route of the optic tract. Now can you see the medial route now approaches the midbrain, and the fibers of the medial route of the optic tract, they enter the brachium of superior colliculus. Brachium of superior colliculus. Then these fibers for reflex visual pathway passing through the brachium of superior colliculus relay in the nucleus of superior colliculus. Now from the nucleus of superior colliculus, two tracts arise. That is tectobulbar tract and tectospinal tract. Now, what is the visual reflex pathway? Initially is the visual, greater part of the visual pathway, that is eyeball, optic nerve, optic chiasma, optic tract. Here is optic chiasma. Cluster किधर गया? Optic chiasma. Then I told you is the medial root of optic tract. The retina of the eyeball, then optic nerve, optic chiasma, optic tract, then optic chiasma here and optic tract there, optic chiasma, then optic tract, followed by the medial root, optic nerve, optic chiasma, optic tract, medial root of the optic tract. Now from the medial root of the optic tract, the fibers for the visual reflex pathway passes to the brachium of superior colliculus. Now here in this diagram you can see this is brachium of the superior colliculus and this is nucleus of the superior colliculus. So fibers of the visual pathway passes enter the brachium of superior colliculus and relay in the nucleus of superior colliculus. So what is the internal structure of the brachium of superior colliculus? The brachium of superior colliculus comprises of nerve fibers which belong to the visual reflex pathway, and these nerve fibers run downwards and backwards through the brachium of superior colliculus and relay in the nucleus of superior colliculus. These fibers have no connection with the lateral geniculate body. Lateral geniculate body is the relay station for visual pathway. So the fibers for visual reflex pathway enter the brachium of superior colliculus, run downwards and backwards and relay in the nucleus of superior colliculus. So nucleus of superior colliculus is a relay station in the visual reflex pathway. Lateral geniculate body is a relay station in the visual pathway, while the nucleus of the superior colliculus is a relay station in the visual reflex pathway. The fibers of the brachium of superior colliculus run downwards and backwards to relay in the nucleus of superior colliculus, and from the superior colliculus two tracts arise. From the nucleus of superior colliculus, tectobulbar tract, it arises from this fibers of this tract arises from the nucleus of superior colliculus and in the motor nuclei located in the medulla oblongata. So it's called tectobulbar tract because the old name of medulla is bulb, so the tract is also known as tectobulbar tract. Similarly, from the nucleus of superior colliculus, the tract arises which descend and enter the spinal cord, where they terminate at different levels in the anterior horn of the spinal cord. Anterior horn of the spinal cord comprise of motor neurons. In this way, in response to an unexpected visual stimulation in the shape of a flash of light, etc., you move your eyelids, you may open or close your eyelids, you turn your head, then you turn your trunk and limbs, and you may run away. So all these motor activity of the eyelids, the eyeball movements, and the movements of the head, movements of the limbs and trunk, etc., are via through these tracts. The tectobulbar tract arising from the nucleus of superior colliculus, terminating in the motor nuclei of medulla oblongata, and tectospinal tract arising from the nucleus of superior colliculus, enter the spinal cord, terminate at the anterior horn of the spinal cord, and they supply various muscle for movements of the body in response to a sudden flash of light. So These are the two pathways. Number one, visual pathway, and then the visual reflex pathway. Now come to the auditory pathway. Pathway for hearing. Auditory pathway. Now you know the vestibulocochlear nerve. It comprises of vestibular division and cochlear division. The cochlear division of vestibulocochlear nerve is for hearing. So what is the auditory pathway? First of all, from the internal ear, that is organ of Carty. Of internal ear. Cochlear nerve arise. The impulses from organ of Carty travel via cochlear division of the vestibulocochlear nerve or cochlear nerve. Enter the medulla oblongata, and in the upper part of the medulla oblongata, close to the inferior cerebropeduncle, there are cochlear nuclei. Cochlear nuclei, one ventral cochlear nucleus and the other is dorsal. Ventral and dorsal cochlear nuclei. Why ventral and dorsal cochlear nuclei? The ventral cochlear nucleus lies ventral to the inferior cerebellar peduncle, while the dorsal cochlear nucleus lies dorsal to the inferior cerebral peduncle. Now from these cochlear nuclei, the fibers arise which relay in the dorsal nucleus of trapezoid body. Dorsal nucleus of trapezoid body. Now trapezoid body is located in the lower part of the pons and it comprises of nuclei. So the fibers arising from the cochlear nuclei, they enter the pons, where in the lower part of the pons there is a structure called trapezoid body, and these fibers relay in the trapezoid body of both sides. Trapezoid bodies of both sides. Now from the trapezoid body, the fibers arise in the form of a tract, known as the lateral lemniscus. A tract called lateral lemniscus. Now the fibers for auditory pathway enter into the brachium of inferior calculus. Brachium of inferior calculus. And from the brachium of inferior calculus, these fibers relay in the medial geniculate body. Medial geniculate body. Medial geniculate body. From the medial geniculate body, the fibers arise in the form of auditory radiation. Auditory radiation. Just like optic radiation in the visual pathway. So from the medial geniculate body, the fibers arise in the form of auditory radiation, and these auditory radiation terminate in the auditory center. Auditory center. That is Brodmann cortical areas in the temporal lobe. As we explained before, this is posterior ramus of the lateral sulcus, central sulcus, precentral, postcentral sulci, etc. Nor superior temporal, inferior temporal sulci. So this is temporal lobe, and here there is anterior transverse temporal gyrus, and then adjoining part of the supralateral surface of the superior temporal gyrus. This is the auditory center. Brodmann cortical areas 22. etc. in the supralateral surface of the brain. So I will again revise. We are talking about the auditory pathway, just like we discussed the visual pathway. Now you are hearing my sound. So which is the pathway? That is the organ of Carty, which is located in the internal ear. From here, the cochlear nerve, which is meant for hearing, its fibers arise. The cochlear nerve fibers then enter the upper part of the medulla oblongata near the inferior calculus, where there are cochlear nerve nuclei. One is the ventral cochlear nucleus anterior to the inferior cerebral pedicle, and the other is dorsal cochlear nucleus located dorsal to the inferior cerebral pedicle. From these cochlear nuclei, nerve fibers arise which enter the lower part of the pons. Look, and in the lower part of the pons, there is a structure known as the trapezoid body having nuclei. So the fibers of the cochlear nerve nuclei, they relay in the dorsal nucleus of trapezoid body located in the lower part of the pons. From here, a tract arises known as the lateral lemniscus. The fibers for auditory pathway from the lateral lemniscus enter the brachium of inferior calculus. from the brachium of inferior calculus, these fibers relay in the medial genicular body, and from the medial genicular body, auditory radiation arises, which terminate in the auditory center. So here you can see the lateral lemniscus, the nucleus of the inferior calculus, brachium of the inferior calculus, and medial geniculate body. Now, the fibers we will trace here from lateral lemniscus. I told you from the dorsal nucleus of the trapezoid body, the fibers run through the lateral lemniscus, which is visible on the lower part of the lateral surface of the midbrain. And this lateral lemniscus run backwards and upwards towards the brachium of inferior calculus. Now, it's fibers which belong to the hearing pathway, auditory pathway, run through the lateral lemniscus, then enter the brachium of inferior calculus. And from the brachium of inferior calculus, these fibers run upwards and forwards and relay in the nucleus and relay in the medial genicular body. So from the brachium of from the lateral lemniscus, the fibers for the auditory pathway running through the lateral lemniscus enter the brachium of inferior calculus. These fibers then run forwards and upwards and relay in the lateral genicular body, and from the lateral from medial genicular body, and from the medial genicular body auditory radiation arises, which they relay in the auditory center. Now this was the auditory pathway. Now at the same time is auditory reflex pathway. So what is auditory reflex pathway? Auditory reflex pathway. Now, auditory reflex pathway. Now, nuclei of the inferior calculi are in charge of our auditory reflex pathway. Nuclei of the superior calculi were in charge of our visual reflex pathway. Now, the nuclei of inferior calculi are the pathway for auditory reflex pathway. They transmit impulses for reflex movements of the body. For example, if there is an unexpected high-pitched sound, for example, a blast or a nearby air gun shot, etc., you will perform a quick motor response to that sudden high-pitched sound. You will close or open your eyes. You will cover your ears by your hands. You will turn your head, followed by a big turn of your entire body, and you will run away from the site of occurrence. So this is auditory reflex pathway, the reflex movements of the body in response to a sudden, unexpected, high-pitched sound. So what is the auditory reflex pathway? Initially, it is same, that is from organ of Cartey, internal ear, from the organ of Cartey of internal ear, impulses pass through the cochlear nerve. Then dorsal nucleus of the trapezoid body. Then these will follow, will Brachium of inferior calculus. Brachium of inferior calculus. From the brachium of inferior calculus, the fibers enter the nucleus of inferior calculus. Nucleus of inferior calculus. And from the nucleus of inferior calculus, again, two tracts arise. Tectobulbar tract and tectospinal tracts. Now, what is the auditory reflex pathway? Organ of Cartier of the internal ear, cochlear nerve, relay in the dorsal nucleus of trapezoid body, which is in lower part of the pons. Then the fibers run through the brachium of inferior calculus, relay in the nucleus of inferior calculus. From the inferior calculus, tectobulbar and tectospinal tracts arise. Tectobulbar tract enter the medulla oblongata, where they relay in the motor nuclei of different cranial nerves for the movements of the eyeballs, lids, etc. And tectospinal tract, the fibers relay in the anterior horn of the spinal cord for the movements of head and neck, trunk, and limbs, etc. in response to high pitch sound. So here you can see in the diagram, again we will trace that from the dorsal nucleus of trapezoid body, the fibers for the auditory reflex pathway run through the brachium of inferior calculus, run through the lateral lemniscus and enter the brachium of inferior calculus. And the fibers for the auditory reflex pathway then run downwards and backwards to relay in the nucleus of inferior calculus. And from the nucleus of inferior calculus, tectobulbar and tectospinal tracts arise. So, our main focus of lecture is the internal features of nucleus of superior calculus, brachium of superior calculus, lateral genicular body, then inferior calculus, then brachium of the inferior calculus, medial genicular body, and lateral lemniscus. There is structural difference between all these two. So externally it appears that the superior calculus is in connection with the lateral genicular body through brachium of superior calculus, but it is not so. Why? Because the fibers of the visual pathway, when they enter the brachium of superior calculus, instead of relaying in the lateral genicular body, which is a visual pathway nucleus, the fibers for the visual pathway run through the brachium of superior calculus, relay in the nucleus of superior calculus, and then via tectobulbar, tectospinal tract, they have connection with the motor nuclei of the cranial nerve in the medulla oblongata and the spinal cord. Now, so the brachium of inferior calculus, the brachium of superior calculus, the nucleus of superior calculus belong to the visual reflex pathway, while the lateral genicular body is a relay station in the visual pathway. Now come to the auditory pathway and auditory reflex pathway. Here you can see the lateral lemniscus comprise of two types of fibers. Some of the fibers for auditory pathway and the other fibers belong to the auditory reflex pathway. So the fibers of the auditory pathway, they run through the lateral lemniscus, enter the brachium of inferior caliculus, and these fibers then approach the medial genicular body, which is the relay station for hearing, and from here the auditory radiation arises, which terminate in the auditory center of temporal lobe. Now, apart from the fibers of auditory pathway, there are fibers of the auditory reflex pathway also, which pass through the lateral lemniscus. These fibers enter the brachium of inferior cariculus, and instead of passing to the medial genicular body, these fibers approaches and relay in the nucleus of inferior cariculus, which is meant for auditory reflex pathway. And from the nucleus of inferior cariculus, the two tracts arise, known as the tectobulbar and tectospinal tracts. The posterior surface of the midbrain, where there are two superior caliculi, two inferior caliculi, is also known as the tectal region. So this is why the tracts are called tectobulbar and tectospinal tracts. So you can see the internal structure of the brachium of superior caliculus comprised of nerve fibers which only belong to the visual reflex pathway, and the nucleus of superior cariculus also belong to the visual reflex pathway. Now come to the lateral lemniscus and brachium of inferior cariculus. So you can see the internally the lateral lemniscus comprise of two types of fibers. Number one, the fibers for auditory pathway, and the other, the fibers for the auditory reflex pathway. These fibers enter the brachium of inferior cariculus. Now what is the internal structure of the brachium of inferior cariculus and how it differentiates from the internal structure of the brachium of superior cariculus? The fibers for the auditory pathway enter the brachium of superior cariculus and relay in the medial genicular body, while the fibers of the lateral lemniscus, which belong to the auditory reflex pathway, they again enter the brachium of inferior cariculus and they relay in the nucleus of inferior cariculus. Thus the brachium of superior cariculus comprise of the visual reflex pathway, while brachium of the inferior cariculus comprise of two types of fibers, the auditory pathway and auditory reflex pathway. So this was detail about the internal structure of the brachium of the superior cariculus, brachium of inferior cariculus, lateral lemniscus, nucleus of the superior and inferior cariculi, which are for reflex pathways. And also we talk about the visual pathway, where the relay station is the lateral genicular body, and then the auditory pathway, where the relay station is the medial geniculate body. So this was the internal feature of the these two brachii and the caliculi and their important role. So keep learning, and thank you very much.